Day 1097, it's 10 o'clock p.m. Just got home from church. Yeah, it was great. I think that was the most fun I've ever had at church. I felt like just so relaxed around everyone and just like so self-expressed, and I just had like such a great time. And we started the new believers class, and like with the last 20 minutes, our campus pastor, his wife called him, and she needed to get her wallet, but she couldn't leave the car because their baby was in the car. And so the pastor was just like, okay, you run the class, I'm gonna go do this, which he's never taken a call in the middle of the class. And he was just like, okay, you run it. And I didn't even know what we were going over because I had called her and said, I can go get it for you. And so he got up and he left, and I just started taking over, and I could not believe how I was just like stepping in and just going for it. Just so much confidence and authority, and people started to lean in and get interested, and I was getting everyone involved, and I just like took over, and he got back and he was sitting there and I was still running it. And I was just like, wow, like that was how interesting that God lined that up, that, you know, the day that he asked me to run the whole thing and create a program, which is just so funny because I literally sent him a message last week and I was like, hey, so I just want to let you know, like, I don't want to run it. I know that's the plan for me to eventually take over, but like, I just don't think it's for me. Like, I need to work with, you know, actual people who've been believers for a while and like teach spiritual warfare and all these things. And so he came to me today and he's like, I know you don't want to do it, but just hear me out. And I told him, I was like, okay, I'll do it, but if I have to just read from the book every week, and that's what we're gonna do, it's like a book club, like I don't want to do it. Like, I want to be able to teach people. I want them to walk out with like tangible transformation and knowing that they're making progress. I want to put together like a roadmap for everyone where, you know, they get through these first 6 classes and then they move on to level 2. And level 2, I'm teaching more like spiritual warfare stuff and stuff that's really going to help them with the Word of God. And, you know, they can get a certificate of completion and like all that. And he's throwing in ideas, and it was just like, it was like, you could tell he was getting excited. He's like, that's exactly what we need now. It's like, the reality is like, there are people when they leave what we're doing now, like they go off and they don't have anything to help them continue to grow. Like, there's just nothing at the church that really helps, you know, them grow their spiritual walk and their knowledge and all that. And like, we should be providing that as a church. And so he was all about it. So now he has to talk to the associate pastor. That's the one that is that we have some stuff with. So that I have some stuff with, and he has some stuff with me. So we'll see how that goes. But it was just crazy how in the middle of the class, his wife calls him and he has to leave, and he's like, Chris, take over. And then he got to see me when he came back. He got to see me take over, and I know he was really impressed, because I was impressed, and I know he was too. And so yeah, I was just like, wow, Lord, like this is good. This is I'm excited about it, and I'm just already thinking about all the ideas and what I initially wanted to do. When the head pastor's wife called me, she was like, we see you taking the new believers and helping them going from crawling with God to running with God and being on fire for God like you are, and taking them through a process so they're not just on their own trying to figure it out on their own. And I was so excited about that. And then then I started working with the associate pastor, and he came to me with this whole other plan to do this and to do that. And I was like, I don't want to do this stuff. This is not what I signed up for. And so, yeah, it's just interesting how God lined that up and how I really enjoyed it. And I'm gonna make that class incredible. I'm gonna make the whole program incredible. Like I'm really going to give it my all, and show them, like, you guys can trust me with leading people and teaching people. And it's a big deal, because the new believers, like that's people who've given their lives to Jesus. So it's massive for heaven and for God, but also as a church, like that's an important group of people. And there's so many people giving their lives to Jesus every week. Like there's 60 or something this last week, which is crazy. So I'm gonna come up with just a program that God would be proud of, like a program that really stewards people. And Jesus said, whoever could be trusted with few could be trusted with many. And now God's dropping all these people into my lap. And I'm looking at it, and it was like 2 days ago on Saturday, I'm like, Lord, I'm overwhelmed. Like, I'm going to be going and speaking in 5 weeks, and I got to put this together for Warriors of God, and I got to do this for my coaching business, and I got to do this. How am I going to do all that in 5 weeks? And now God drops this in my lap. Like, oh, not only are you going to do all that stuff in 5 weeks, but you're also going to put together an entire program for new believers and implement it. And I'm just like, and on top of that, oh my gosh, I'm coming up with a new system for hosting X18 online. So I'm hosting that. And I'm coming up with like a new system to make it even better. I talked to our head pastor and he had some ideas, so I want to implement that. And I'm supposed to be helping with conference and selling conference tickets and helping them and consulting them with that. Wow. And so anyway, so we did the new believers class. That was great. And then it was prayer night. And we started with just worship music. And like the worship music was going forever. Usually people start praying, and I look at our pastor and he's like talking to one of the guys and like praying for him. So I know he's busy, and I'm like, I know what I need to pray for. Like, God gave me the message perspective shift. And I was walked over to him, and I was just gonna like tap on him and say, hey, can I just grab the mic and go pray? Because it was just like, when are people gonna start praying? And I walked over and I chickened out, and I turned away, and I walked back a little, and then he walked over and he was like, hey, will you just pray to get us started? And I was like, oh God, why did I chicken out, Lord? But it's all right. But then at the end, we prayed for each other, like in groups. And I just prayed for, I asked for prayer to just steward all the things that God has given me, because I just feel like, how am I going to do all this? And one of my X18 guys, he prayed for me, and it was so powerful. He's like, Chris is going to be like the Lord. He's going to be like the servant with 10 talents, where you give him even more. You know, he took the 5 and he turned it into 10, and then he's going to turn it into even more, Lord. And I just declare that you're going to give him more things to be responsible for, because you trust him with everything that you've given him, and you know that he can do it. And I was just like, wow, what a powerful like perspective shift, which is crazy, because I was praying for perspective shift, and I'm the one who got a massive one. So yeah, that was really awesome. And then at the end, I don't know, I just felt a shift in my relationship with our campus pastor today. I don't know what it was, but at the end I was joking with him a lot, and in the middle of his last prayer, he said, instead of rebuking, he said rejuking, and corrected himself in the prayer. And I walked up to him at the end, and I said something like, yeah, man, I just really feel like, you know, we need to rejuke someone. And he was like, he said, because usually he jokes around all the time. And he's like, I was shocked that no one said anything about it. And I was just thinking, like, how crazy it is that no one said anything. And then you come up here. And, and then I announced it to the whole church when I was leaving. I was like, can someone please rebuke him? And it was so funny. But I just, like, I felt so comfortable just being me today. Like, just totally being me. And it's like God is unlocking my personality, and he's unlocking that fun side of me, that playful side of me, that just brings so much light and joy and happiness and laughter. And yeah, it was just it's awesome to see my own personality come out around people. So yeah, it was just a really, really fun day. I'm glad I was there all day today, and that's how I'm gonna start spending my Mondays again. I'm just gonna be at the church all day, and I got a bunch of work done and stuff done for the church. But I'm excited to put together this program, because I know it's gonna be amazing. I know it's gonna be incredible. I just don't know how I'm gonna do all this stuff. So Lord, please help me, because you know I need it. Amen. So it's 10 o'clock. I have to be up in 6.5 hours and go to the gym. So I need to go inside and go to bed. But amazing, incredible day. So many testimonies. Yeah, God is so, so good.